I mean, there already are home theater type arrangements, but I think that it's possible to have even more intimate interactions and just everybody sort of sitting there looking at the screen and not interacting. I know that Microsoft came out with a tabletop thingy which has 4 positions, and I forget what they call it. I read about it a year or so ago. And that would be a great thing to have kids and families interact. And I think each one can control different cursors and not just the same cursor. So there's limitless possibilities, and technology is really, it's not cutting edge, this type of stuff. It's just putting it together the right way. So yeah, I would encourage that. But make sure that the seating isn't just like here, like a theater, where everybody is just facing, that there is a lot of eye contact and a lot of potential for interaction. And that people, this is another point, when you're a parent with a child, it's very important for you to model for them and to give them the experience of your being really present. Not on the phone, not online, not driving while they're watching some kind of cartoon in the back seat, and they're in a little world and you're in your little world and there's no connection. But really you're involved. You could use technology in many, many ways, but don't use it in such a way that it isolates you from your kids. You have to be present in the strong sense of the word. When I was sitting here like that, I wasn't present. I was somewhere else. And you knew it. And you probably thought, what a weird way to start a talk. So, okay. Any other questions? Yes, over there, please. I can hear you. Go ahead. I'll repeat your question. I think that's a wonderful question, and I think it comes up in my limited experience as a speaker. It has come up a couple of times at least, and I think that the way to think about it is to look at development as a time to look at pretty much everything a kid does in the context of development, and to ask yourself, what is the challenge for the kid here? What is my child? What kind of problem is she or he working on to solve for herself or himself? And since you know that she or he is shy, then that's a topic for you to discuss with him or her, and to say to him, it's easier. It's easier to do that when, for the same reason, the example I gave you, and. But maybe we could do a little more of the other stuff and find a better balance in your life. Because doing things face to face with other people has a lot more power in some ways, and it will be more helpful to you. And then lead them through some kind of thoughtful way of face to face things, even including media. Boys and girls playing video games together, tremendous socialization goes on during those times. So that's both entertainment and socialization development opportunities that are taken care of with that activity. And if there's a component that has some educational thing to it within that kind of a game, that's 3. So a kid can interact a lot around media, through media, and you can help them shift from one to the other. So that's kind of an answer. I hope it gives you, if you have a follow-up or to the question, I'll be glad to answer that. I gave you a generic answer, basically. Okay? Virtual world.
So the child is shy, and they like to get into the virtual world a lot because they can totally change their personality.
Right. Right.
So that's a kind of a concern area.
Well, again, it's the same issue. I mean, the technology or the tool changes, but the basic human problem doesn't change. Shy children need to develop a sense of themselves as being more valued by their peers usually. Depends on the age. Children who are adolescents are can be intensely painfully shy. And there is no simple way to give him a vitamin that takes that away. It takes thoughtfulness on the part of a parent or parents and discussion. And if it becomes a major impediment to the child's life, then it becomes something to consult a professional about. But there are things you could do. I mean, just common sense things. If your community has a children's theater activity, have them join that. Or if it's a boy, have him take martial arts courses, or more sports in some way, more participatory kinds of things, church activities, musical activities. So there are ways to bring a child along, but they take time and they take a lot of thoughtfulness. So that's how I would deal with it. But identify it not as a negative. Identify it as this is a kid who's trying to solve a problem that they have in development. Positive way to look at it. Any more questions?
There's a question from the phone. How much TV or computer can a 1-year-old get with the company of parents?
That's an excellent question. It's a controversial question. The whole area is extremely controversial. On the one hand, you have basically commercial forces, market forces, people who want to merchandise entertainment to kids and products to kids and their families to start consumers early. And on the other hand, you have, and then in the media industry, the TV industry or the internet industry. And then you have, on the other side, the child development advocates and extremists, radicals. And that debate has been going on since TV came about. The American Academy of Pediatrics came out with a recommendation that children younger than 2 should not have any screen time at all, period. 1999. That has been almost totally ignored by parents. And these are pediatricians who have come to the conclusion that there is absolutely no benefit to it and there may be risks. But the research is kind of in its infancy and we really don't know. My personal point of view, don't fool with Mother Nature. Don't create situations for kids that are not proven to be helpful. The burden of proof is not on the parent who says, no, this isn't really worked out, so I won't do it. The burden of proof is really on the people who say they can make a baby Einstein out of your 2-year-old or whatever, which, by the way, is not really much of, has not been substantiated. The main purpose for the development of our brains, the way we have it, and that's been demonstrated in the developments in neuroscience over the last 20 years, especially with the neuroimaging techniques, because before that we couldn't really study the brain in vivo, demonstrate that the primary reason we have our brains is for social relationships.